In fact, let's stick with that story. Tensions are running high between senior ANC members. Leaked audio from this weekend's National Executive Committee meeting reveal former President Thabo Mbeki questioning whether the ANC is still an organization in a true sense of the word. The party is meanwhile threatening action against those responsible for the leaks. Some members are also believed to be calling for a special retreat to discuss the future of the party. Let's take a listen to the leaked audio clip of former President Thabo Mbeki.
Some other comments have made similarly very really serious remarks about the state of organization. The comrade Chupo, I think that's how you pronounce the name, much earlier had called for a retreat. And he said that retreat must discuss this question. Do we still have any organization called the ANC? That's a very, very serious challenge, comrades, that a comrade says we need to meet, he said 2 or 3 day retreat, seriously to look at this matter. He's followed by Comrade Batabile, and Comrade Moho spoke in support of Batabile. Both of them representing the Women's League. And the central point that Comrade Batabile made is this, that the movement is about to collapse. I'm saying, Comrade Chair, you have this question. Do we still have any organization called the ANC? Second comrade says, on behalf of the Women's League, the movement is about to collapse.
So Oliver Dickson is an independent political analyst and joins us now to take this discussion further. Oliver, I've been saying that Thabo Mbeki is not given to drama, right? So to hear him asking, do we still have an organization to speak of, is quite dramatic by his manner and demeanor. I suppose, let me put you on the spot then. What would be the answer?
No, there isn't. This is the beginning of the end of the ANC as we know it. But I actually do want to put a caveat there. I think Thabo Mbeki is keen to drama. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if this leak was orchestrated by him. Thabo Mbeki is known for orchestrating leaks.
That's a powerful allegation to make.
If you think back all the way to the last local government election, that would have been 2016, right? There was an investigation into the state of affairs of local government and the ANC at the time, leading up to Nasrec at the time. Thabo Mbeki had compiled a report that was incredibly scathing of the ANC. That report was leaked by members in his own rank, not by opposition factions within the ANC. And so this is classic Thabo Mbeki to be leaking scathing criticisms of the ANC, because Thabo Mbeki's idea of restoring the ANC is that the push and pressure must always come from the outside, bottom up, and not top down. The ANC can only fix itself bottom up. Naturally,
we're going to have to give former President Thabo Mbeki the right of reply in the context that the leaks themselves have been seen as, you know, anti-ANC culture and undermining the conversations, etc. But I accept your assertion of what you just said now. I'm just pointing out that we're going to have to give him the right of reply. What would a special retreat achieve that so many National Executive Committee meetings have not been able to achieve, Oliver, given that some of them actually last for days, starting on a Friday, ending on a Monday, be it physical or virtually? So how different would a special retreat be?
I mean, he's asking for, what, a 3-4 day retreat? That's how long NEC meetings typically last. I mean, the NEC meeting is on its 3rd day today. It will be concluding in a couple of hours from now. This could have been the retreat. I guess in his mind, it would be specifically focused on gauging the temperature of the organization and asking the critical question, do we still have an organization? Whereas an NEC meeting has several things on the agenda related to the business of the ANC. One of the things discussed, for instance, is the process through which they will be selecting mayoral candidates for the upcoming local government election, right? That is an operational matter to discuss leading up to the local government election. It doesn't ask the existential question, do we still have an organization left to begin with? But look, Thabo Mbeki has been asking for a consultative conference for a long time now. But the idea that a consultative conference would be a panacea to the ANC's problems is not founded in reality. I mean, the Youth League had a consultative conference about 4 or 5 years ago at the University of Johannesburg. 5 years later, there still is no Youth League existing after that consultative conference. And so consultative conference really is just a talk shop and not a place where action can be taken.
I guess they base the call for a consultative conference on, the Morogoro experience, that, they were able to pull back an organization that was moribund, that sort of had lost its way in terms of executing the struggle. So I suppose there's that harking back to that history.
Yeah, but the difference here is this is an organization with incredible amount of state power. And the fight at the moment is about who gets to control the levers of state power. That's what the fight is about. It's a blood sport related to resources, and it's not an ideological one. What the Morogoro Commission was able to do succinctly well was focus it on ideological realignment. And this ANC right now is not split along ideological lines. The ANC we see today is split along a battle for access to the levers of state resources.
So lastly, Oliver, as they come out of that NEC meeting, if we perhaps put the narrative around the two main personalities, right? Cyril Ramaphosa on the one hand, Ace Magashule on the other hand, both facing challenges from those that are their political opponents or detractors within the National Executive Committee and the broader ANC membership. How do they emerge from this meeting this past weekend, given what we've heard and observed?
In my Business Day article this morning, I make two arguments. Cyril Ramaphosa is no more powerful today than he was the day before Ace Magashule was suspended. And two, his real political opponent was never Ace Magashule. It is not historically the pattern that an opposing faction that lost the previous conference gets to win the next one. It is always a smaller faction emerging within the current dominant faction that emerges victorious, right? And that's to say, Cyril Ramaphosa's real political opponents would have been David Mabuza as well as Paul Mashatile. It is not the case that it was Ace Magashule. Ace Magashule was an irritation along the way, so to speak. He was going to lose anyway because his faction hasn't seen any more groundswell since 2017, right? It is the people who delivered the victory to Ramaphosa that will take it away from him. And the analysis that I have at the moment is that Ace Magashule sidelining from the center at the moment gives a perfect opportunity for either David Mabuza or Paul Mashatile or even Lindiwe Sisulu coming in from the outside to usurp the power base and the support that Ace Magashule had at the moment. And it really is just about seeing where the tides are changing towards over the next coming days. Assuming, of course, Ace Magashule doesn't go to court, potentially wins, which would be an egg in Cyril Ramaphosa's face, because now he has to be brought back into the fold, which emboldens the Ace Magashule power base, right? And you can only imagine what an Ace Magashule power base will look like after a court victory against the Cyril Ramaphosa faction.
Oliver Dickson, thank you so much. Always a pleasure chatting with you. It's been a while, by the way.
Really has been.
Good to have you back in studio with me. Oliver Dickson, independent political analyst. And as I said, this team will be reaching out to former President Thabo Mbeki just on that specific matter that